Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a video that was shared to me by one of our sisters on here by the name Genevieve. Shout out to Sister Genevieve for sending this video in. The video is about this African American man from Atlanta. His name is Dexter Cafe, and he discovered through a DNA test that he is a direct descendant of Pharaoh Ramses III. So without further ado, let's let the clip roll.
And we're now very happy to be joined by our next guest, Dexter Caffey, the founder of Smart Eye app, who recently learned of an eye-opening discovery of his own ancient past, all thanks to a DNA test. He is joining us now by Zoom from Atlanta. Hello, Dexter.
Hello, Emily. How are you?
It's so good to see you. Last time was here in Israel. We got to get you back here, but we'll have to settle for Zoom now. You have such an interesting history. Please explain what made you do a DNA test, and then what happened when you found out all of a sudden that you're related to Ramses III.
That's a great question, Emily. Well, about a year and a half ago, I traveled to places like Israel, France, and different places like that. And so what happened was people would always ask a normal question, where are you from? And I would say the States, United States. And the people that I saw in France would say, no, where are you really from? And I said, the States. That's all I know. And so that question stuck with me for a long time. And I just said, where am I actually from? I mean, I know I'm American, but where my DNA is from?
Something just came to my mind right now, and this is something that I'm thinking about for the very first time. The fact that people ask African Americans or Black Americans or Black people in general, or maybe even POC in general that are Americans, where they are from, where they are really from, but nobody asks a white American where they are really from, even though we all know that white Americans are not indigenous to America. It just really goes to show how over the years they have standardized themselves as, the true Americans, like the real Americans, the what's it called, the default American. So we have Chinese or Korean or Asian Americans, we have Native Americans, we have African Americans, we have Nigerian, Ghanaian Americans, etc. Right? That's how Black people and people of color get to have those prefixes before their American title. But white people just get to be American. They don't get to have no prefix. There's no prefix in front of their title American. Like, it's just really interesting how these people over the years were able to standardize themselves and make themselves the default American. If you ask me, I would say it's about time we correct this ish. It's about time we start calling ish what it is and start referring to them folks as European Americans. Prefix them up like every other person. If any group of people in America should not have a prefix, it should be the native to those lands. Anyways, now that I've gotten that out, let's get back to the clip.
And so I said, well, let me take my DNA test. It was a 23andMe DNA test. And I took the test, and I was shocked when I saw the results. It came back, and it showed that I was actually a direct descendant of the Pharaoh Ramses III. And I knew nothing of the pharaohs. Didn't know much about Egypt, but everything you hear about, Bible stories and things like that. So for me, it was a huge shock, and that's how I found out about it.
So, should we talk about how uncanny this resemblance is, or should we just ignore it? Because if you ask me, guy, I would say Ramsey reincarnated, because this resemblance is crazy. Genetics is a very interesting thing. Like, it fascinates me for real, because look at this. Ramsey is from like how many thousand years ago? But now look at this man. This video was posted a year ago on YouTube. That's thousands of years after Ramsey's death. And he's like, we can say, a spitting image of the guy. Wow, just wow, because like, what more can I say?
Wow. So obviously you took it deeper and deeper. You saw all of these synchronicities in looking at images of the fair, how much you and even your brother look like them. And your own company has like an eye logo that looks like the Eye of Horus, unconnected to any of this. So what did this open up for you in terms of your own knowledge and learning about this?
I remember I was actually laying in my bed on Christmas Day, 2021. And I was going through my 23andMe DNA test, and that's when I saw that I was connected to the Pharaoh Ramses III. And again, I knew nothing of this situation. And so I looked up a sculpture of the Pharaoh Ramses III. And when I saw the sculpture, I literally screamed. And my wife said, Dexter, what's wrong? I said, this guy from 4,000 years ago, we look just alike. And she said, Dexter, wait a minute. There were no pictures from 4,000 years ago. I said, no, his sculpture was the Pharaoh Ramses III. His sculpture, we look like identical twins. And she said, let me see it. She saw it. She said, oh my goodness. And then I continued to go over different sculptures, looking online. And I saw the sculpture that looked just like my brother. If you could show that on the screen, it'd be absolutely amazing. But it was, and I looked at the sculpture and I said, this looks just like my brother Joe. And I called my brother Joe and I said, I'm going to send you something. And he said, where'd you get that from? It looks just like me. I said, that's a sculpture of the Pharaoh Ramses III. And he said, oh my God. I said, that's over 4,000 years old and looks identical, just like you. So we were blown away, completely blown away.
And talk about the synchronicities. It's funny how the universe speaks to us. So you have a company that with the eye is a logo. You even have a dog that's similar to the dogs of Pharaoh. What?
As I kept digging more and more, I had a friend who's here in the States. He's from Israel, and he said, Dexter, he said, your logo that you have for your company, the eye, that you started like over 4 years ago. Looks just like the logo from the Pharaoh Ramses III. I said, what are you talking about? What did they have? And they had the Eye of Horus. And I looked at it and said, oh my goodness, they had an eye as their logo. And my company's logo was an eye. And again, keep in mind, Emily, I found this out about a year ago, but I had my company established for over 4 years before that, my startup. And so I just kept continuing. I said, this is crazy. We actually have the same image, logo. And so I kept digging further, and I found out that they had dogs called the Pharaoh Hound, which is in the same family as the dogs that I own called Whippets, which are sight hounds. So they run just as fast, chase small prey. That's what they were bred for. So, and then I continued to look at it further, and I said, wait a minute, what was the Pharaoh Ramses III's name? When I actually looked it up, it was, they had different names, of course, but the name was Seti, S-E-T-I, Seti number 2. That was the Pharaoh Ramses III name. Seti number 1 was his father, the one that was the fought against Moses and the let my people go situation. So Seti number 2 was Pharaoh Ramses III. And I said, wait a minute, my company's name is actually Smart Eye Technology Incorporated. If you take the first letters, Smart Eye Technology Incorporated, it comes out this SETI. That blew my mind. I said, this is insane. So everything connected. And I'll never forget, Emily, my first trip to Israel in 2015, I went to the Negev Desert, and I felt so comfortable in a Negev Desert. I remember saying to myself, I feel like I could live here. But when I did more research, I found out that the Pharaoh Ramses III spent years in the Negev Desert trading. So again, these are all things I'm learning, and I felt like so much at home, and I just realized why.
Wow, it's incredible. So obviously you're still on your learning journey of, what this all means, but what is it like to kind of be this person who happened to get a test, discover this, and now we're also learning a little bit about what pharaohs look like. We have images from the 10 Commandments, as you noticed, but what does this tell you? What do you want to do with this information?
I think it's all still learning. I'm still learning. If you saw the image of how I look just like the Pharaoh Ramses III, every day when I look up in the mirror, I look in the mirror and I just see myself, and I said, this is crazy that this image that I see is identical to me. And this was from 4,000 years ago. So I'm still shocked every day when I wake up and look at it.
Thank you so much, Dexter. Next time we'll interview you right here in studio when you get to Israel. Much appreciated.
This is so cool. It's crazy. It's fascinatingly crazy. The similarities, mind-blowing. You see, at the end of the day, they can lie about anything and everything if they want to. They can try to rewrite history if they want to. But something that they would never be able to do is lie about DNA. Genetics is a marker of truth and can be used to know more about and understand history better. I have said it many times on here, and I would always say it, that when breeze blow, like we say in Nigeria, fowl yansh must open. meaning the truth would always come to light regardless of how much people try to hide it. It's no wonder that a story like this would never make it onto a news outlet like, say, CNN, for example. Why? Because we know how they be rolling on that platform. We know what they are about. This kind of story won't be shared on there because it's going to put a crack in what they want the status quo to be. I mean, come on, these people went to great lengths rewriting history, breaking the features of the sculptures of the pharaohs over there in Egypt. There are even talks about how they are setting fake pictures and sculptures that they created to replace older sculptures, right? These are the things that they did, trying to basically whitewash Egypt so they can take the accolades and the glory and the credits for all of the things that the ancient Egyptians did and the civilization that they created. Because coming out and saying that, oh, the ancient Egyptians and the civilization that they created, these were done by Black Africans, that goes against what they want the status quo to be, that Africans cannot do anything good in life, right? So it's no wonder that you would not find stories like this on them other big media outlets, because they are all parts of the propaganda machine, right? They are all playing into the game of keeping the status quo, rolling like that. But like I said, genetics would always call you out. Genetics will always be the marker of truth. Hence why, regardless of whatever it is that they say with their mouths, hence why, regardless of whatever it is they write in their history books, genetics will always be looking at you like, say whatever you feel like saying, say whatever makes you sleep well at night. But, I'm saying what I'm saying, and you cannot deny that, right? Hence why there would always be situations like this. Hence why the more people, the more African people, the more descendants of the continent go to get their DNA tested, I believe that the more truths are going to be revealed. Hence why I would always come by situations like this as well, right? I made a video on this 2 years ago. This particular scientist went and tested one of the mummies, the pharaohs, their remains over there in Egypt, trying to prove that they were white. But he was shocked too. They would always be shocked because DNA would never lie to you. The truth is what the truth is, right? So yeah, he went to do that, test the DNA. And he found out from the particular pharaoh he tested again that he was a Black man. He was an African person, right? By the way, if you want to check this video out, I'll do well to link it down below in the description. But yeah, this is the video, guys. Very interesting. I'm very grateful that our good sis Genevieve, she came by this and she shared it with us. Like, shout out to Sister Genevieve one more time. Yeah, this video was an interesting watch, I must say. As per DNA testing, I do want to say in this video that it's something I've been thinking about for maybe a little over a year now, like getting my own DNA tested, I mean. And the reason why I want to do this test is not because I have like an expectation of what I would like to see in my DNA, because I really don't care. I have no expectation. The DNA or my genetics, it is what it is. I just want to know what it is. What combinations do I have? Because I feel like it's fascinating. Like, I'm just curious. Do I have some DNA that traces to, the region that's known today as Senegal, for example? Or maybe I have some DNA that traces to the region that's known as Mozambique or Kenya, present day, I don't know, Ghana. Like, I'm just curious, what is in there? And the same way, it won't make me neither happy nor sad what it's in there, it still won't make me neither happy nor sad what is not in there. I'm just curious to know for the sake of knowing, not that it will make much of a difference. I don't know if you guys understand. Like, when you think about the fact that, African people, we've been in existence for hundreds of thousands of years, and in 100,000 years, or in the hundreds of thousands of years that African people have been in existence, so much has happened. So many migrations and movements has happened. So many intermarrying has happened. So many mixing has happened, right? And these many thousands of people mixing, that's how I got created. So I think about it sometimes like, it literally took thousands of people to exist for me to exist. So the life of these thousands of people, I think about it. I mean, I would never know what they look like, what their names were, and where exactly they were from, because it's hundreds of thousands of years that brought me here, right? And so many things happening and so many people meeting that brought me here. So I would not really know the details, but like sometimes I'm curious. I wish I could know. But the most I can know right now is per region. So at the moment I'm like, okay, I know I'm a West African in quotes, but do I have an ancestor that's from like the East? Do I have an ancestor that's from like the South? Right? Do I have an ancestor that's from like the North? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it would be interesting to know, and I'm curious. I really am. But yeah, that's the video, guys, and pardon me, I know I kind of made the video about me and my own DNA dilemma. Not verse, I know, not to center myself or anything, but you know, it was just the thoughts I wanted to share. And since, you know, we're talking about DNA and ancestry, I thought I should share as well that I've been curious about my own ancestry as well. And I also want to know, have you been thinking about your own DNA and your ancestry as well? Is it something that fascinates you, DNA and ancestry? Have you had these thoughts as well, wondering what do you have in there? Would you like to know, like I want to know? Let's continue this conversation down below in the comment section. For those of us who have checked their DNA, have their DNA tested, let me know, what did you find? How did you feel when you found what you found? Like, what was it like? What was it feeling like? Do we maybe have another confirmed descendant of Ramsey watching this video right now? Let us know down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, guys. That's it. We've come to the end of the video. Again, I want to give big shout out to Genevieve for sending this very interesting video in. Thank you very much, sister. And yeah, guys, that's it. Do have a very lovely weekend, everybody. And of course, as always, I'll be catching you in the next one. Bye-bye.